Sure.
I just like,
Yeah.
Jared and I go back and forth, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
in a friendly way.
Always. I do. Or, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
in a friendly way.
Always. I do. Or, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
in a friendly way.
Always.
We are all present, so we are going to go ahead and start the work session for our meeting tonight. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for being here. This is being recorded and it will be available for viewing on YouTube. And with that, Jake, can I turn the time over to you to lead the work session?
Great.
Okay.
What?
Push button here.
Hey, good evening, Planning Commission. Let me do a screen share here. Then we can pull this up. Do you want to just go through all 4 items in order, or how would you like to?
Yeah, I think so. That's all right.
Okay,
Some of them may require more time than others, but just an overview would be good.
okay. Try this again. Okay, so our 3 items are, we have public hearing for 3 potential code changes. These are items we've been working on. And then the 4th item is a conditional use permit. So we'll go through for your background, these 3 items. And the first is regarding the rear and side yard lot option. Let me zoom down to that. The idea is if someone has a corner lot, this only applies to corner, then they would get to choose which is the rear setback and which is the side yard setback. And this is the code. I kept it as simple as possible. On building, so it's a footnote, on building plans, corner lots have flexibility to indicate designated side and rear sides and corresponding setbacks. Applies to single-family buildings only. And I was just thinking one change I would recommend here, and we could put this in a motion if you choose, is that just in the brackets, I would say non-corner next to the side. So that way, because there's your front setback and then there's your side that's on the street. Those two we're not touching or messing with. But the setback behind the home or the side yard setback, you could choose and say, which one do you want where? And that matches with what we just matches with what's happening, what we've been struggling with, and also matches where you can choose what is your front yard.
May you suggest the word change, Jake,
Yes.
after period, after setbacks,
Okay.
on the two non-street sides.
On the two non-street sides. Yeah, we could add that. Teresa has a comment as well.
Or you can do the interior side yard setback.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, either
Yeah.
way, yeah.
Yeah. Designate side and designate side and rear sides.
Yeah, so you could do designated interior side and rear side.
And rear side. Okay.
To me, the word indicate and dictate is the same thing. I'm not sure we need both those side by side.
Yeah, why we have indicate and designated.
Yeah. To me, it's the same word, same meaning.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I think you can delete one of those, whichever one you want.
32. So I think we could take out designated. Would that be all right? Okay. For the sake of time, we'll move on from this one. We can, but we've comments that Teresa has received have been very positive. A number of people are waiting on purchasing lots or building homes because they like this option. Okay, the next one is the land use code. We worked on this for at least 3 months, maybe 4 months. And I'll point out what you're seeing is a clean version. All previous meetings, we had red line versions. So I do want to point out a few things. And along with this will come, we'll probably want to go through some of the code and requirements. And I'll point that out, but we have essentially there's 3 elements of zoning here. You have the designation, is it allowed or not allowed, or is it a conditional use? Second, you have the definition. What are we talking about in terms of the legal definition? And then the third item is, what does the zoning ordinance say about what are the design requirements? What do we mean? You know, if we're talking about a community event center, well, how should that be built, you know, properly according to zoning? And so that third part we'll want to start getting to on some of these items in the future. But this is a good proper order. In here, what is different than you've previously seen is I did add data center since there's been so much talk on that. And I have it as a non-permitted use, but that may be something in a manufacturing zone that we could add later on, but we'd want to have specific ordinances and maybe size limits and restrictions about it. But because we're not ready with that, we haven't even discussed it, I just put it on there and put it as non-permitted. Another one on here is I added park and plaza as permitted everywhere. I think that goes without saying that it's okay and safe. Getting down to retail. Okay, vaping is on here but not allowed, so we added that. Tattoo is on but permitted in the manufacturing. That's something we discussed last time. Tavern, and we have bar and tavern on here, and this is in the definitions. Per our definition, a bar is just a bar, like alcohol only. But a tavern is more of a restaurant and alcohol. And we have tavern listed as conditional use in the, let's see,
But a tavern has no living quarters.
correct.
Okay.
General commercial and then highway commercial, we have a tavern as conditional use. So we're not showing it for commercial street if that's something that, typically those they are in downtown. So that's something that you may want to change. There's the data center. I think this is when we extraction of, no, we had that in there. So that one's not allowed extraction. I think those are mostly.
You could add tavern in commercial. That's where I would imagine it being.
You would add it there?
Wouldn't that be like having a cool bar downtown?
Yeah, I think, you already have a liquor store. Go ahead, Jay.
I think we should put the tavern in, we should consider putting it
For
in
the
the,
CC.
yeah. I
Okay.
think that'd be a cool place for a bar.
Well, both places, put it both places. But right now,
Yeah, I
tavern,
think the other one was good as well.
In the,
Not residential.
yeah,
Yeah.
none of this is residential.
Remind me, I know we've talked about it, but I can't
Okay.
remember. Would we run into any issues if someone actually wanted to put a tavern on Commercial Street where there is a church there?
Yes.
There would be, and what we had the alcohol store first,
Mhm.
and then we had the church came in second, and they just had to acknowledge that they were essentially going into an existing area that was selling alcohol.
But then if a tavern tried to come in,
They couldn't.
they couldn't.
There's a
So,
separation requirement in state law, so.
yeah.
So they may have to be on the far end of Commercial Street, and we'd have to look at that distance and see.
So it may be a moot point, Jay, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Church rooms in your.
Yeah. Okay, also I added sexually oriented businesses. We didn't have this before. We discussed it. And that one I left it as blank too. And the idea in the top of the language here of the code, it says P is permitted use, C is conditional use permit, and then use not permitted when not listed or not marked as allowed. So just because we don't have it here, it doesn't mean it's allowed either. But according to discussion with Gary, we decided it was a little bit stronger to say we've already decided this and we're going to list. So there's maybe 5 or 10 that are maybe big no-nos. And so we've listed them as no's.
That makes sense as a way to communicate. We've decided no on this, not we didn't think of this.
Yeah. Any comments or questions on this? I mean, if you feel like you need a little bit more time, we could bring this back next month after you hear public comment, or if you feel like it's ready to sit on to city council, you can do that as well. This is something you can always tweak, and we've done a lot of tweaking and changed, and we've tried to combine as much as possible, but we also have added some things that have changed, whenever this was updated last.
This does seem a lot cleaner than what we started with.
Yes.
So thank you for all of your work on this.
I think it's a good idea if we have a version we're happy with and we're only going to make it better, we should just get it done and move along.
And you can always bring it back and say, we missed this, or we weren't thinking about this, and that's probably the case. One other thing that I did add is flex unit. We do actually have what we would consider flex units. That's over off of the center point circle there. Where the Nye auto or glass stores are. Also, some are being built in Mountain Green. They look really good near the Lee's grocery store, if you've seen those. And a flex unit is not a self-storage, not quite warehouse. The idea is it has a front door, maybe a bay window for a contractor, a plumber, electrician. They could pull trucks in, have equipment, maybe one stall or two at the most out front, and have some windows. And it's kind of this in between, really popular for a lot of reasons. And so we have it as a permitted, I have it as a permitted use in MD and then also in highway commercial. So a little bit more on the industrial side and less on the commercial downtown side. Okay, I think those are all the differences from the previous version. Okay, the next one is the definitions. Went through and made sure we had a definition for all of our existing and all of our proposed use changes. And in this document, Exhibit C, everything that says existing definition is from before, and I didn't touch those. And then where it does not say it, then we added it. You know, arcade. I'll just cruise through some of these. Auto and ATV. So we combined auto and ATV sales. But also we do prohibit like heavy equipment, semi trucks, commercial trucks, vans, vehicles, dismantling. Bar, this is where we kind of distinguish between bar and tavern. Benevolent society, since that was already in there, let's define it. Big box retail, that's at 50,000 square feet. Let's
So
see.
all these definitions are basically a pickup of normal definitions. I mean, you didn't
Yeah,
write
yeah,
all this.
Yes, yes.
You-
I did write some of it and pulled in some from others. Oh, commercial campground is something that I added. I want to just double check and show you what we had there. We've had requests in the past for what are called hip camps. A hip camp is like basically just a piece of dirt that people can go gather and camp, and some may party, some may not. And we don't need to have that as a definition. But commercial campground, we do have in as a conditional use. So that might be, I put it in highway commercial and also general commercial. The idea is like maybe a KOA. And with this, we could have conditions, bathrooms, maybe a pool, landscaping, parking lot, something really nice. And so we could set that bar wherever we want. I don't know if you've talked about it in the past. There's also Como Springs, which is talked about annexing into the city. So this kind of I would say is maybe one step to make that happen. And if that happened, I think the city would want to dictate the conditions of it rather than just happen haphazardly. Thoughts on commercial campground? And I have it as conditional use so that would allow us to kind of set the conditions and be a little bit picky. We would have to allow it, but then we'd also have to say what those conditions are. And this is one that if we do allow it, then we would want to go back and in the code, say, these would be the requirements for a commercial campground.
Yeah, I think that sounds reasonable.
Maximum nice, allowed to stay there, would that be part of it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Morgan's a great place for that type of use, so.
Pete, let's see,
I was thinking up in Garden City, we went up there for Memorial Weekend and there's a KOA like across from the marina.
Huh?
And it's pretty cool in that town. And I think people come to Morgan to camp at the golf course. And they would camp at Como if it were probably set up that way. And Echo or East Canyon. And so I think even if we had a nice campground, like nothing, something really nice. I think people would love to come camp here on an asphalt patch with a tree and be up here. So I think that could go in pretty much, that seems like it would fit in a lot of places.
Yeah, yeah.
I would like, though, as you said, to maintain the right to dictate a certain level of services and landscaping and because would a nice campground like a KOA or like.
On-site
something that would-
management would be a requirement
something like
that
that.
somebody's there maintaining it. I think that goes probably.
But the
Mobile.
definition's good. I mean, it specifically says it doesn't include a mobile home park, permanent residential community, long-term storage of vehicles. I think that's good to make that distinction.
Yeah, it doesn't become a mobile home park. There's some that do. It happens, so.
Jake,
Yes,
when a couple of years ago, when Como decided to turn their place into a campground, there was quite a bit of work that was done. The county has got some good information on campgrounds that applied to what they were doing. It may make sense to look at theirs and maybe even mirror some of that where we're right next door to each other.
okay, yeah, thank you. That's a great suggestion. I didn't know they had done that work. Okay, most of these I think are pretty standard. Community Event Center, we didn't have that before, so we added that. Dance hall, added that. Electric vehicle charging station, added that. Flex unit, we talked about that. Live work, we had that in the code before, so added a definition on that. The difference between live work and mixed use is live work is maybe a single unit, like a townhome with residential above and commercial below, where mixed use would be a bigger building. Manufacturing a high impact and light impact. So we allow light impact and we do not allow high impact. And high impact is, has pollution, smoke, hazardous material. They're producing something, plastics or whatever. But where businesses are assembling and fabricating, but not having necessarily a significant pollution, then that's okay. And we have this already in town. Any question on the definitions? This kind of corresponds that way where if we update the land use and we update the definitions. Okay, should we move on to the fourth item?
Yes.
Okay, so this is for conditional use. We had one before by essentially the same applicant for their existing building. We approved that, and then they wanted to, then they applied for the vacant lot next to the Ridleys. That lot is not improved in the same way the other. It's not a building with an existing business and facilities, and so it is looked at a little bit differently. This is the diagram provided by the application. It's not accurate in terms of meeting the property, and so that was one of my notes is like it'd be nice to have an accurate map of how that can lay out.
So question,
Yes,
so have we issued the conditional use permit yet?
no,
But it looks like it's already being used.
it was being used. Then the city contacted them. They kind of backed off, submitted it.
Okay.
And now we're working through this. And tonight you'll have the opportunity to weigh in on that. And it is a planning commission decision. So it doesn't go to council. So you make that decision tonight.
So what is the actual use they're applying for?
They're applying for the sale of ATVs.
Okay, because I didn't see that wording anywhere in the discussion as far as what actual, and in their application, they've got display of Polaris house, like used power sports with sales, service, and repair. So I think the service and repair is probably not part of this.
Well, unless it's happening out in the open,
It's not-
Yeah, that was my question. There's no sales office anywhere here.
Correct. They're going to pair it with their building behind.
That's what I thought, so.
When I read it, I thought it was signage because it said display. And so I thought they were talking about what signs, where can the signs go? But it's more than that. It's
Display the vehicles,
Yeah,
and it
display
is
the
not a sign application. I made that clear in my notes. And that may be something that if you, depending on how you want to handle this, that you do clarify signage.
Well, and to your point about not having a complete, map of how they're gonna lay it out, is the intention to park trailers in between the other ATVs and the street?
That's a good question.
So, I raised this issue with Jake because we had the same issue in Layton with, no,
Sorry.
is it not
Here.
green? It's not green.
There you go.
Sorry. We had the same situation in Layton. We have a lot of young businesses there and other types of businesses as well. And what you end up in having, if you allow the big box trailers, even the trailer haulers in there, is a billboard essentially, or two billboards, and the equivalent of two billboards. So the rest of the businesses on the street all have signs that meet the ordinance of the city. And then you have these great big trailers. I've seen realtor trailers. We've had car trailers. We've had all kinds of different types of trailers that they park out front, and they really overwhelm the display, whatever the display is. It could be cars, it could be whatever. And the intent of this is that your merchandise is your display. You have the merchandise there. But the big trailers out front were kind of a red flag to me that we need to, during your conditions. And on a conditional use, you can impose reasonable conditions to diminish the negative impacts of a use on that location and on surrounding uses. So things like fencing, and abutting the residential use, things like dictating what the signage should be and where they will access from, those types of things. They're all parts of the conditions that you can impose that are reasonable. Now, can you ultimately deny a conditional use? You really can't under state law anymore, but you can impose enough conditions that you're comfortable that it's that the use will fit in well at that location. I mean, it could be hours of operation, could be lighting, could be just about anything that you choose that you think would help reduce the negative impacts.
Because a big trailer could actually become a sign.
Oh, yes, as big as a billboard.
That's.
Billboard, yeah.
Yeah, that's Gary.
And we've had that happen
Yeah.
where all of a sudden you got a billboard.
Parked
running at this-
Parked right in there, yeah.
A potential safety hazard there, right? Because visibility getting in and out of Ridley's, if there's a giant
Yeah,
trailer parked
definitely.
right there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so here are my findings. Go over this real quick. So the site's partially improved with gravel, and the engineer is okay with that. I did double check. He's not requesting that it be paved. If it is paved, then we would need stormwater retention because now you have a runoff, and so that would change it. Access is a big point. If it's coming off of State Street, that's a UDOT right of way, and so that would require UDOT permission per their standards and their approval, not ours, but theirs. If it comes through the Ridleys, which is okay, we would just want a cross-access agreement. Even though Ridleys owns both properties, but if one were to sell or change use, then we would want that. And the cross-access agreement should be between the grocery store, the gravel parking lot, and the existing facility, because I imagine they'll be moving in all three directions. So that's just legal agreement to go through those. We have, requested questions on these. What about restrooms? Of course, they have them at the existing building, but we just want to go through that. Lighting hasn't been discussed. Access mentioned above. Cells, will they occur on site or adjacent office? The repair, that was something you brought up, so I think that's an additional question. Is repair just meant for the existing building, which we've already granted that conditional use. So they have that for the existing building. And this is just for the gravel parking lot. Weed and property management. So no public infrastructure has been proposed yet in terms of, utilities, stormwater, access. No signs are part of this application, so that might be something that you clarify if you decide to grant the conditional use, that it does not come with signage, and also trailers, like especially big trailers. That's something you want to address. So in terms of recommendation, you could deny it if you felt like the request isn't being met. Gary said probably shouldn't deny it, but maybe just make sure that all the conditions are met. You could postpone it until we get additional information or items in writing, or you could approve it with conditions that certain items be met. If this were a part of a building project, then we would, of course, seen the building improvements. And hence, I think by ordinance, we still should ask for certain site improvements. Fencing is required when you have commercial and residential uses next to each other. In this case, there's already a vinyl fence. So that could be satisfied. Landscaping, we do require a landscape frontage, so the park strip, and then I think the first 8 feet, and then also a buffer up against the residential. So that could be a requirement. That is something that's recommended to meet our landscape ordinance. We do that because it's a site that needs to be improved, and of course, that would beautify State Street. Just having a gravel parking lot with ATVs, I mean, I think Morgan wants better, and we've been asking for that with all the buildings. And McDonald's, we had them, they actually had to change their construction drawings to up their landscaping, and I think it looks pretty good.
Tony, did
May I
you?
make a comment? What about snow removal in the winter? Yeah.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
It's not hard sided, hard surfaced, they go plow snow on a dirt plot.
Yeah, you can plow on gravel. It gets a little bit messy. We have to go back and make sure gravel's not being pushed into the road or parking lot. But you can. It's not as easy, but certainly you can.
It appears to me like there's a lot of unanswered questions here. There are a lot of situations that are not addressed. And so I guess to me, I'm uncomfortable making a motion to approve it and list 15 requirements from the due before to me, it's not ready to come to us.
Okay.
It should have had stuff put together before we brought it to us. There's a lot of pieces there that are not quite right, quite done yet.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, thank you, Ray. Thank you, Jake. We will end the work session and
That guy is
In power sports?
yeah.
Probably.
Oh.
Are you with Young Power?
I am, yeah.
Okay. That's why I'm sure.
Yeah, you need your comments. You need your mic, okay?
It's a good chance. We get to this thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Pretty easy. Okay, so, and you saw what we talked about, so you just may want to know. What you're thinking about.
Sounds good. There you go.
The first one was. Oh, yes.
You want Mike?
Yeah, what was
All right, welcome, everybody. We will call this meeting of the Planning Commission to order. Welcome. It is recorded and available to watch on YouTube. Let's see, I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. All right, our first order of business tonight is approval of the minutes from the June 16th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. If everyone's had an opportunity to review those minutes, are there any proposed changes? Or if not, we will entertain a motion. And Chris isn't here, so somebody else is going to have to make a motion tonight.
It was just you two here.
Ray, do you have a microphone, Ray? Oh, Teresa, could you help us with that? Thank you.
Did you?
I move that we approve the June 16th, 2026 minutes of the Planning Commission meeting as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? We have a second from Becky. All in favor, please indicate. And it is unanimous. Thank you. Motion passes. Per our agenda items tonight, actually, let's go ahead and take care of agenda item number 1. As per Planning Commission bylaws, we are required every year to nominate a new chair and a vice chair. Now, this doesn't have to be a new person, but we do have to revote and reevaluate it every year. So do we have any nominations for the position of chair? And let me just say, I'm willing to do it, but it will not hurt my feelings if you feel like it's time for a change or somebody else will take a try. So, Ray.
I nominate Aaron for chair.
Well, thank you. I will accept that nomination. Do we have any other nominations? Okay, so it's just us.
I move nomination cease.
You're decisive. You're not going to get. All right, thank you. I have been nominated to serve another term as chair. All in favor, please indicate. Any opposed? Thank you. All right, I appreciate the vote of confidence.
That's what you get for doing a good job.
We also need a vice chair. Do we have, currently serving as vice chair is Dave Griffith, who is not with us this evening. We can nominate Dave again, can we, without him being present to accept the nomination? Or if someone else would like to do it, that would be great too. So do we have a nomination for vice chair? Right?
I nominate Chris.
Chris would be great. I second that nomination. Okay, he's not here. Can we go forward with the vote? Barring any objection from Chris? Okay, we have a nomination for Chris. Remind me his last name. Termea, to be the vice chair. All in favor, please indicate. And that is unanimous,
That's why you want to come to meeting.
right? That'll teach him.
He's gonna, right?
Okay. With that, since agenda items number 2, 3, and 4 are all part of a public hearing, we are actually going to push those further in the meeting and move agenda item number 5 up, which is the conditional use permit, Young Power Sports Motor at 273 East 300 North, housing display and signage for Polaris, Kawasaki, and used power sports until sales, services, and parts as per the application. Okay, item number 5, which is now going to be our item number 2. Jake, would you give us a
Okay.
little bit of background
Yes,
on that?
okay. So for the record, this is something we discussed in the workshop. And I'll just do a high level review of this. And we do have the applicant here, so we can give him a chance to answer questions. Legal description was provided. The applicant does have permission from the owner. The owner is Ridley's, the same grocery store owner. And then Young Power Sports is the applicant representing their application and also the usage of the property. It's located on State Street, and this is it right here, one single parcel. It did have a fence in the middle, but that's been taken down. And So the proposed use is sales and services of ATVs and similar recreation vehicles. As mentioned in my report, this is not a sign application. There has been larger trailers used for signage. It's in the CG, general commercial zone, and is compatible with commercial, and we do have vehicle sales in the area. This is a business that is currently functioning in Morgan City, and has, in some ways, has already relocated to their existing facility in the Center Point Circle. The site has been partially improved as a gravel parking lot. Before it was basically a vacant field. Okay, one of the issues to be discussed is access, either UDOT approval coming from State Street, or we recommend a cross-access agreement in between all three parcels, existing building, the grocery store access, the property you're driving through to get there, and then the proposed property for the activity.
Is the existing building, the property owner, a different property owner for that one?
Let me just kind of show you right here. So we have this property right here. This is owned by YF Real Estate, which I presume is the Young Power Sports. And then this is the one where we'd want a cross-access agreement with corresponding Ridleys, and then the same ownership on this one. So essentially between all three would be appropriate. As part of this question on restrooms, where and how will that happen? Is it just the existing facility, or is it a porta potty, or both? Lighting, times of operation, sales, do they happen in the parking lot, or do they happen at the office, which is already approved for that? Management of the property, particularly weeds. Engineering has looked at this and they say gravel's okay, and that no storm water basin is required as long as it stays impervious as gravel. A big part of this is a discussion of trailers, and there's of course multiple kinds of trailers. There's an open trailer that you'd put an ATV on to haul it behind a truck or an SUV, and then there's the enclosed trailers that are maybe medium size, and then they have the large trailers with the big logos, and essentially that's functioning as signage. And so that's I think something the Planning Commission should address as part of this application. Fencing is required, however, fencing is existing. Landscaping is required per our ordinance, and its recommendation that if you issue a conditional use, but also that the landscaping ordinance be met. And that's in two ways. One, a landscape buffer on the frontage, and then a landscape buffer on the side, because we have commercial next to residential. And the city has required that with other properties that have done similar. Ray, you're saying no?
Drive up and down State Street and take a look.
Teresa, do you want to give me the example that you mentioned, a recent example where we had commercial next to residential and we required a landscape buffer on? I know with all our recent ones, some of the townhomes that have gone in, we've required it for those.
Well, and is this a case of it being something that we have done from a certain date forward? We certainly didn't go back and require those changes to already exist.
So as
It's at the time of application, we're requiring it.
And as per code, it is required to have that landscape buffer. A good example is Young Chrysler Jeep Dodge. It has a landscape buffer to the residential.
Right.
Yes, it happens to be their backyard, but this one is their side yard. We do that.
Is that right here?
Yeah, so there's more than one.
I agree with the buffer. I understand that. The one that I was questioning is, we've had so along State Street, we haven't required grass and trees. So I guess my thought would be to look at what we're currently doing, look at what direction we want to go, and not require grass and trees based on what the code says, because we have not required that along State Street?
We have, for all building projects, we have been required landscaping, but it can be water wise. It doesn't have to have grass. It could be drip irrigation and plants.
And I agree with that, but the code doesn't allow for that. So I'm saying, please look towards that, yes.
Yeah,
Rather-
and maybe that can even
The-
be in your
the code
recommendation.
says trees every 15 inches grass.
Yeah.
We have not done that along State Street.
Right.
So I like look at what we've done, maybe you just go if we need to, but be conscious of that as we require front landscaping.
Okay. Any additional questions? Now, tonight, of course, you could deny it. Gary has recommended that typically per state law, if we allow it as a condition, we should allow it, but you get to set the conditions. You could postpone it saying we wanted more information, or you could approve it with saying these conditions be met, and then staff can take care of it. That we do that with subdivisions and other applications, and you could just give a list saying we want all of these items met, and you provide sufficient direction. And then we take care of it and work with the applicant on getting it handled. Just barely, Gary and I had a discussion that you can do snow plowing on gravel surfaces. We would just get the specs from the engineer, like road base or gravel. It's even typical that fire departments approved those. Subdivisions, when they build them, there's a lot of driving and plowing that happens at that road base before the asphalt goes in. So it certainly can be done, maybe a little bit messy, but definitely can be done.
So one of the questions I have is, any of us who have been over to Ridley's parking lot in the wintertime, it seems like all the water drains towards where these two properties meet. And there's always been a big pool of water there.
Yeah.
And I'm just concerned that, is that going to continue? I guess it's Ridley's problem and they're leasing it. So if they're not concerned about it, I guess we don't need to be, but it's always been a problem when in the wintertime, that parking lot about 10 feet over is like 6 inches of water in
Is
it.
that, you're saying it's pulling up right here? I have it up on the screen.
Yeah, it's
So-
pulling up right there where the two properties meet.
Keep going with your mouse, keep going.
So you're saying it's pulling here, or it's pulling on the,
Further west in there.
Yeah.
right in
Yeah,
here? Wow, you guys got it down.
That's
Okay.
where the two
lake.
properties meet is where
Yeah.
it's been pulling.
Yeah, on the existing, I don't know if we can, I mean, in some ways, it's almost like that's a Ridley's. Now, we know that they're coming back for an addition and that application, so that's something that can be addressed as part of their remodel. If it is going on to this proposed property, then we could have that condition that they have a depression or a way to handle stormwater.
Yeah, well, since the owner owns both of them, I guess you haven't got somebody complaining because it's got water pooling up because he owns both properties, so.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that, Gary?
Does that include, does the application, I don't know where the boundaries of the application are, are they all the way abutting that?
It's this rectangle right here.
Right there.
The
All the
lower
way up.
one or the whole
Yes.
thing?
So it is where the
All the
water.
way, it's actually a single parcel.
Okay.
Here is this kind of
Oh,
shows you,
got it.
there's the zoning and the parcel map right there.
So, Madam Chair, can I make a comment?
Please.
A question, I guess. So if that was Ridley's just expanding their parking lot?
Yeah.
What would be considered on the storm drain issue?
Probably retention.
Yeah, yes. We would require on-site detention, and if they needed to fix the grading, meaning, lower one area, higher another, then that would be required.
So if what Mark brought up, if that, and it is the issue for however many years, that turns, the water runs that way, so isn't that something they would have to take care of before it's leased?
or
The answer is yes. I mean, if there's a drainage problem there, I'm sure Young's wouldn't want their property flooded either. You know, their site flooded, and so there'd need to be something done there. So
It seems
this,
like we have a recent example, because on the other side, before they built McDonald's, that was a big pond.
Yeah.
So how did that play out? Does anybody know? Because they got rid of a pond over there.
He owns that too.
They have a catch right there in
So
front
the
of there.
owner's already remedied this on the other side in the past, so they would probably just say, you gotta do it again on this side.
I think the parking lot went draining like this, both sides.
Okay, sounds good.
It is.
Since we have the
Off
applicant here, would it be appropriate to invite the applicant to be a part of this discussion? Yes.
Yeah.
If you would like to
Lance, I
step
feel
to the
it's-
podium,
Yeah,
yep,
if you don't mind.
tell us your name. And you've heard our discussion. If you would like to address any of our questions, we would love to hear your answers.
Yeah, Lance Barraclough is my name. Yeah, we're good.
He's a pro.
So we're ready. Yeah, fire away with questions. You know, as far as drainage and stuff, we've been down there a couple months. I haven't seen any puddling up or anything, but welcome all the water. I'd like to see more rain happen. But you know,
No puddling last 2 months, I think.
Yeah,
What's that?
this isn't the wet time of year. So,
well, I come from Davis County, so we're praying for water every day. So
yes, we'll take what we can get.
yeah. Anyway, as far as the lot, I mean, we just want to park UTVs, ATVs out there. I know it's not the perfect scale, but you know, it's something we'll probably change every week. It's going to be 3 4-wheelers up front one day, maybe a UTV up there one day. So as far as having an exact model, you know, we're just going to do it professionally. It's going to look good up there. We'll probably have anywhere between, because it's gravel, we just moved out of the gravel from another location. That's why we moved. We don't want to be in the gravel, but now we're back in it. So we're going to put very few units out there. We just want to have some frontage so people see that we're here, that we're open, that we got a presence. So it could be, you know, front showroom and then back. But as far as working or selling or fixing, they're just for display. So it's a display out there. It's UTVs, people see, oh, look, there's the building. Let's go inside. It's air conditioning, it's heated, bathrooms inside. So pretty simple. All they want to do is park a few ATVs up on the road in the dirt.
How about our discussion about trailers, where the rendering does show trailers parked along
You know, I think
State
it's a
Street?
fair question. We have trailers that we use, our distribution centers in Centerville, so they bring us up units. Sometimes they need a place to park. Our back lot's filled up right now, which is the reason we're asking for this to be opened up. So, you know, I'm open on the trailers. You know, to me, it's, you know, everything we do is branded Young. I know some of the trailers are, Morgan doesn't have a big trailer like that, but we have some that come up now and again. We've got a utility trailer we use to pick up customers' units and bring them in. Part of our service is we go to your house, pick up your unit and bring it back. So we've got a truck and trailer, but it's a average size, maybe 30-foot trailer, you know, that has our name on it. That, you know, that's about it. We have some flatbeds there too. So single axle or double axle, 14, 20-foot trailers. People come in and say, hey, do you guys have a way for me to get a home? And so we have trailers available to buy too. So, but they're open trailers. They're probably 4 or 5 at a time. You know, they look good. They're professional. They're not rusty. So.
How about some of the other issues we've talked about with the landscaping? Do you have any plans to improve landscaping and with lighting for security?
Well, part of what started here was us looking at that property and wanting to be noticed kind of in the back lot. And, you know, we looked at the lot and there was concrete in there was pipes, there was, you name it, it was tossed in there. And so we just started off just wanting to clean it up. And then I was like, well, why don't we just, you know, clean it up and park some ATVs here. So before it was just a big dumping ground. So it looks about 1,000% better now. So.
Which doesn't answer the question about landscaping or
Sorry.
lighting.
What was the question? Sorry.
Well, in the staff comments here, we've talked about landscape requirements.
Oh, You know, to be honest, we'd prefer just to leave it the way it is. It's clean, it's nice. We don't have any, it will take care of the weeds and anything that grows up there, but we'll maintain it the way that it looks now. It looks, like I said, way better than it did, a month ago. So if you need a couple trees or something out there, I don't know what the requirements would be, but we want to put stuff up front. We'd like it to be seen and visible for the short time that we're there. Eventually it'll change hands and they'll do something with it anyway, but for the short term, we'd like to be able to utilize it. So.
Commissioners, thoughts or questions?
One thought I have is, to that exact point, I think that's a great understanding we should have is this isn't the owner using the property and you don't know what the future is.
Mhm.
And so to set it as neutral as possible for the most amount of flexibility in the future, it may be better to leave it as like he says, he's improved the property. He's made it better. If he starts building it up and putting signs, and you got sign issues with the hotel from the past, or the more we build it up, the more we're at risk of it not being the right fit for somebody else when the owner does what he wants. So my general thoughts are setting it as neutral as possible and better than ever is a good way to go, and giving him clear direction on how to get there. Cause I understand you got a beautiful building in the back, right? They've got nice fencing. You guys have good taste. So just
Yeah.
let them do what they want. I kind of think, just make them follow all of the rules in here. That I think the access is a big point. Like
Yeah.
if the access isn't there, then you got a problem. But if the access is there, good for
Yeah.
you.
We've called, our delivery drivers, UPS, all the truck drivers, the access is down for the lower circle. So everybody knows we've got a route that comes through there. They turn back around and go back out. So we're, other than customers maybe pulling in there once in a while, everything's on the backside. So by design, we want it all back there. Our mailbox is back there in the circle. So.
Some of the other thoughts I have is like some of these view lines in here. I would just say like one thing I think that I've experienced is like, I just want visibility out there. And so I like the idea if you're gonna put some four-wheelers out front as opposed to like the blunt end of that trailer flip backwards.
Mhm.
So the sight line's a little unsafe. Like I think a softer front edge, like tiered, like four-wheelers going into razors, going into,
Yeah.
fifth wheels.
Bigger, so you can see the depth. Yeah.
Just more for view and safety. And it sounds like just a common sense approach. Like what we're looking for is we don't want trailer, young, right?
I get it. Yeah, it's overwhelming. Yeah, so we've got a couple trailers we'd like to be able to use kind of in the back, but the front of the property is just for staging ATVs and UTVs, and they're probably this tall, some are, so, kind of simple, really, so.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm going to be the devil's advocate and do it from a staff point of view, if you don't mind. What helps staff, especially in code enforcement and complaints, is to have a clear line. I know that you prefer to, the neutral approach, but talking with our code enforcement, ATVs for display only, not overcrowding. Another one is a concern with staff is this turning into a storage unit? A open storage area and not a display where you're gonna have anything that, is not for you they're not displaying their product. They're wanting you to come to their office to sell, but we're putting it there because we have nowhere else to put it. That's not, we're hoping that their intent is, but not having that clear line for code enforcement and staff. And I'm gonna throw the mayor in because he's the ones that gets the first call on code enforcement issues or complaints. So, staff just would rather have like more of a clear view, For example, trailers are not allowed to be in that area. That could be something, they need to stay out of the clear view area. Maybe a good one might be is the products need to be rotated, and so that they're not there on I don't know, but I'm telling you that that's what we would prefer is in your a condition, you put conditions on a conditional use, you're saying, yes, we'll let you be there, but we just want you to give you guidelines, this is what we need, and then staff has a bone to be able to do when we enforce any complaints that might come to this. If there's not a clear complaint, from what I understand from our attorney, that it is really hard for us to have to handle, is what I'm trying to say, so.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Teresa. Appreciate your perspective. Ray?
To go along with what Teresa said, I totally agree with that. The situations I see here, one is a sign situation. Another is the access situation. Another is at this point, it's not paved. If they decide to pave it down the road and they're already in there, then that's a situation that would need to be addressed. And then the other things are these bullet points, for lighting, access, sales, weed control, and the water scenario. To me, those are all situations that I'll be discussed with what Teresa said. So my inclination tonight would be to table this or postpone the decision until the staff and the applicant have a chance to sit down or work these things through, actually put them in writing, so the applicant knows what the city expects, the city knows what the applicant's gonna rely on. That'd be my thought at this point, would be, in fact, I'll make that motion. We postpone this motion until staff and the applicant can sit down and address these items and actually put them in writing. So both the city and the applicant know what's expected. At this point, there's a lot of talk. I appreciate your talk.
No, I'm
Let me add one
happy to
more-
do that.
let me add
What
one
are we
more
talking
thing.
about here? I mean, just,
Go ahead.
okay, just, that's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So can we just talk about it now? It's been a month and a half
We got
waiting.
one more thing and I'll let you talk.
Okay.
One more thing I have is I'm not opposed to what you're doing. It cleans up the area. I think housing out there is fine. I'm not opposed to the scenario. But
Right.
to me, there's too many loopholes here. And I'm not sure, you took 2 months. I'm not sure why the communication hasn't happened. Within 2 months, to me, the communication hasn't happened. I don't know who didn't communicate, but to me, that's what happened. There's no communication happened to address these items over the last 2 months.
The what? I'm sorry.
Well,
I didn't hear that last part. What?
He's
Yeah.
saying that if it's been 2 months, how come the communication hasn't happened within that time period to address these? And actually, I agree with you completely, Ray. I had the same question. I mean, we reviewed these staff notes 2 weeks ago. I kind of expected by the time we came tonight for some of these questions to have been answered. And I agree also, we appreciate the work you've done. We're not opposed to the project by any means, but for me, there are too many question marks, and it's all well and good to stand here and smile and agree in person, but we need it in writing for everybody's protection down the road. So I am inclined to agree with Ray that we need to have this in writing before we,
I made the
approve it.
motion. I made the motion. Tell if you want to accept it.
so is that an official motion?
Yeah. You can still discuss it.
Just a question before you vote on the motion, and that is, would it be okay if we went through as staff the things that we have got established? And then that would leave us with just a few items that would need to be covered? Because I think we're getting from you at least some indication on a couple of these items that maybe we could just kind of check those off.
Okay.
And then you could give us an idea of the 3 that remain, and those are the things that we can discuss with.
Okay. Yeah.
With you.
Gary,
Is that okay, or is that,
If-
yes? I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Oh, yes, go ahead, Dave.
Aaron, I've got a question for Gary that may factor into the discussion. A conditional use permit, is that indefinite, or can there be a time specific for that? In other words, could there be something that's a little bit lenient for 3 months or 6 months, and then time to work on some of the other issues and so forth?
That's a very good question, Dave, and the answer is yes. Conditional use can be looked at every 3 months, every 6 months, every year. And we've done that, or upon valid complaint is another way that another thing that we put in conditional uses. So yes, if there was a concern that reached out beyond you know,
Okay.
having there on a permanent basis, you could actually just do, we'll review this in 6 months and
Mhm.
it's working well.
Yeah.
We'll continue on.
The applicant want to talk.
It might be a little bit of a way to bridge a standstill.
What was that?
The
Ray?
applicant wanted to talk.
Did you have something to say?
Yeah,
sir?
No, I'm just
Oh.
listening.
Okay. So Gary, is that something we want to do right now, is go through those points so we know where we stand?
Could we just check so Jake
Please,
can
yeah.
have an idea of where you're
I'll
at?
make
Yeah.
notes here on the
Would
screen.
that be all right? I don't want to waste your time, but at the same time,
No, let's be as
we've
clear
got
as we
only
can.
3 issues, then we'll go ahead and deal with the 3 issues. So, definitely need a cross easement agreement between Ridley's and this and Young,
Mhm.
so that they've got access in and out of there. Definitely need UDOT approval. If it's, UDOT may say, no, we're okay with the one access you got there, but to make sure that the additional business does not require an additional UDOT requirement. Is that another one? Fencing along the property line, the residential is already there,
Already
and
there.
you want to make sure that's properly maintained.
Already there.
The compaction in the parking lot, subdivisions. I met with a bunch of fire chief up at the Capitol who are concerned about the state not requiring that roads be paved in the wintertime, you know, that they only be compacted. And the bottom line was, the engineers said a certain amount of compaction can guarantee that you can plow on top of that. So that can be resolved. We can require that their engineer essentially certify that the compaction is the same as it would be for a subdivision, so that they can remove snow in the wintertime. Lighting, I didn't hear anything about that, so that's a question mark.
Yes.
Okay. And then, because I'm sure Young wants security as well as the abutting business.
Yeah.
To have a
Well, and
bunch
it's
of
a balance though,
ATVs.
right? Because they've got a residence on the other side. So we want enough lighting for it to be safe, but not so much lighting that we're keeping them awake at night.
I heard no repairs or servicing on the site. That's not nor storage of serviced vehicles or repairing vehicles, that type of thing. It's for display of products for sale. Is that
Yeah, all the repairing is done in the building behind it.
in the
Yeah.
building behind it?
Yeah.
Okay. There is no sales office, so there's no permission to bring a temporary sales unit up there or anything of that sort. Did I hear that as well? Okay, oops, I just lost it. Restrooms, the question, I don't know that we got an answer as to whether or not they'll just use the restrooms in the rear or
I think he did say
any,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
With that, if there's no sales office, I don't
Okay.
think there need to be restrooms.
Hours of operation, I don't know that it would be any different than any other retail business. I don't think Young's, that's a question that's still open. I don't have an answer here.
They addressed that in the application.
Did they?
Yeah, they already addressed that.
I like that your
96.
recommendation gave us our options.
Management of property, no weeds, maintain it. And we have a right to essentially revoke the permit if it's not maintained properly. Display of the new vehicles only, and then maybe a temporary conditional use permit, which would be reviewed after 6 months or a year, whatever time period is that you would want. And then landscaping, the question of should there be some type of landscaping out front? Maybe just the rock or low impact landscaping or whatever. That hasn't been, I didn't get a definite on that either.
And I'm kind of torn on that because given the nature of the use for this, it does seem like it would be a little silly to require a lot of decorative landscaping, but also we want the frontage to the street to look good, and I'm more concerned with the neighbors to the side. There needs to be some sort of a buffer there. Does there, Jake?
Per ordinance, yes.
Okay,
On both ends. Now, on the landscape, permanent improvement requirements, there's both sides. Business could go well and they could be there forever. There's plenty of businesses that moved in and say, well, try this spot for a year, and then they stay 10 or 20 years. They're having success. And that's when the city would have been like, oh, we wish we would have required that improvement. Or maybe they are here for 6 months because Ridley's is moving in, or they want to be somewhere different. So there certainly is both sides, but requiring the improvements, I wouldn't hurt the city. Of course, it does cost and affect the business, but State Street is our front porch and corridor into the city.
And then
Gary, did you mention box trailers with signage? Should that be a discussion?
Yeah, that's the next one on there, but
Okay.
what I'm hearing is you don't want box trailers on the lot. That if they're going to store the box trailers that they use to transport the vehicles back and forth, that you want it in the next lot, in the lot at the back. This is for just the display of merchandise, not of, it's not the trailers. You're not displaying trailers. And so that's what I heard, but I may be wrong.
What I heard as well.
On it, there's a couple things. There could be, they could be allowed at the 50 feet at the back.
Yeah.
Or it could be also trailers of a certain size. A 20-foot trailer is very different than a semi-truck trailer.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the flatbed trailers as well. So I think we definitely want to be specific on the trailer allowance.
So
And
that-
also where they would go if allowed.
So that might be the open question, one of the open questions.
I like the specificness of the for retail purposes because that just encourages kind of a fresh movement. And he's kind of committed to a movement. And if one day it's a big thing, I don't mind. You know what I mean? As long as they're moving things, I think that's, I like that specific nature about the criteria of it being, what is the term you used, Teresa? For sale purposes only. You had a term you used about like showroom purposes.
We have right here for display only
Display. And that's,
Display.
that's the intent he's asking for is.
and retail
display.
only.
And that causes the
Yeah.
rotation of the units.
It's not for storage.
Right. That causes, that answers so many questions to me. If you say for display only, that eliminates 90% of the other variables.
I disagree, because what if you're displaying it for sale and it doesn't sell? Then it still sits there for a long time.
They're good businessmen.
They wrote,
Well, it could,
Trusting than I am, Jay. I want it in writing.
that's a whole nother.
so we could clarify ATV sales only. And actually that would mean that trailers couldn't be sold unless you're okay with like small
Well,
flatbed trailers.
Like what I thought I heard from Jay, which is that it was sort of graduated, right? Lower things in the front, maybe trailers in the back. If there's some way that we could dictate that.
Well,
And we can, you can totally dictate that, your conditional use.
I had an actual example because it actually says in summary comments B, proposed power sport dealership, including sales and service ATVs, similar recreational vehicles. So to me, trailer isn't a power sport anyway. There's no powertrain to it. So I think at some level, we're controlling that already in kind of what you're doing. You're not selling trailers. You're
So
not,
are we telling the applicant they can't park trailers there?
no, I think it's a good idea to just say, here's where you park your trailers. And it sounds like they'd like some space for some trailers.
I guess I
would be
just
a
don't
bright
see
line.
that in the application clearly, and I would like to see this cleaned up if I were, and we're gonna approve it.
And then the last thing was the flooding. I don't know, I was unclear as to whether or not everybody has seen the flooding. That's the most amazing.
And it's recent. We've just had we've had those monsoon storms and there's been puddles. You just missed it. I go to Ridley's 3 times a day. It's a problem. We should ask the landowner what they're willing to do. We should get some kind of clarification from the landowner
Well,
on
Does it pour over on?
if there's a possibility.
One thing, it sounds like most of it's off-site,
Move
meaning
your,
right here
move your
and not
mouse.
on the
Move
property.
your mouse
Both.
towards the
The
store.
property line is like the center of the
No.
pond.
By the line. Move the
Oh, right
property
here.
line. Right
You'll see that
there.
gray soil.
To see.
Right there,
where-
Jay.
Yeah,
But the
That's
scenario
it.
is-
It's the pond.
yeah.
And it
Gotta
can grow in size.
And there used to be a fence there, so we didn't see this property we're considering. My guess is that property was underwater.
This property.
You run
This
off,
half.
they run off of the, run off the asphalt.
Tony.
And we
Aaron?
still there.
Just drove by there, go over there now,
would
just
be
with that little rainstorm we had.
Okay.
And it puddles
Go under
on,
the fence and on that
On
property.
the way home.
it puddles it puddles a little bit on both pieces of property.
What'd be cool is if they could make it like a terrain park and it floods sometimes and then you take your UTVs over the rocks.
Splash through.
Just play on it.
In the winter, when the snow melts, it's like Lake Erie right there in that one spot. It gets pretty flooded right there. So,
Dries out, you can do Burning Man.
yeah.
So are you saying that if he has an agreement with Ridley's, that's not an issue for Ridley's?
Yeah, that kind.
Yeah, I feel like it's Ridley's issue.
Well,
It's Ridley's
Ridley's
issue, right?
And they own the property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake, isn't there a storm drain right there?
They need to clean their drain probably is all.
I'm
I
looking
don't
at,
know where, this looks like one right here.
No,
There's not a drain there.
okay, no drain there, Tony.
I see something. It's in the concrete gutter. It's in the concrete gutter.
He's gonna say if you ask him to fix the drain.
Got a good relationship with them. I'm not sure.
Madam Chair, just a clarification is, staff isn't, as far as what a conditional use permit and the requirements is governed by planning commission.
Yeah.
And all I'm explaining is the staff would just like those conditions, just so they can enforce them.
Yes.
And so I love the idea that Gary's gone through what staff's already recommended. You need to pick and choose what you want to put on that condition.
So that's all I had. typed.
We have a motion out there.
You
Yes.
can die like a second if you want.
You can start over again, you know that, Jason.
Well,
But that's what I kind of pulled out of the conversation. If I'm wrong, just change it, you bet. Good for us to have a bright line too, so we know
And-
exactly what you're talking about, rather than just.
I agree with what you said, Gary. And I thought Teresa had a couple others in her discussion. She had some other stuff that we hadn't talked about, the staff's aware of. So my next question is then, the way this flows, you're saying the planning commission shouldn't put together that list and requirements? Or and staff not deal with the applicant? Or can staff deal with the applicant and sort these out?
No, these are yours. These are your requirements. The planning commission is the one that sets those requirements. We just make recommendations as staff. This is one of the things that this is entirely in your court.
It's like making the longest motion in the history of the planet.
Yeah. Just say as listed.
I mean, Ray kind of said jokingly in the work session, I don't want to approve this with 15 conditions. And we got 16 on this list, if I counted right.
That's what a conditional use is. Literally, it's the only
Okay.
thing in state law that really is discretionary on your part and is a list of conditions that you make up. The only thing that state law did about 5-10 years ago was say, okay, we're getting too many of these that are denied. In conditional uses, it was never intended that they be denied.
Let's just give them our best list. Let's
Oh.
focus on it for 10 minutes, give them our best list and know that we've tried better than not.
On some of these, it could be flooding is addressed per city engineering and planning.
Yeah.
And we work out some of those details on it because we may not be able to.
And that's what I was thinking. I'd like to go through and kind of make sure we have a resolution to all of these, because to just say lighting, that's not very specific. What exactly are we asking him to address and to do on lighting?
If we say we want lighting, we have no idea what it's gonna do
Right.
unless we specify what the lighting is.
Yeah.
There's not enough time tonight. to
This is one of the ones
specify
we had a
those.
question mark behind, so.
So Ridley's has lighting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But do they want more?
No, we have no plans for lighting. We're just gonna leave it as is, how is.
There you go.
And that would solve the problem with neighbors because they're already living
If
with
he
it.
doesn't want any more, then we don't need to address it.
Do we not?
We don't have
not?
to, we don't have to require lighting.
Okay. I mean, it's their,
Can just address it, just to say it's an issue that's non-issue, just for clarity.
In some ways on lighting, it actually hurts them.
yeah,
And
because it's
so-
their stuff.
Yeah, it's their stuff. I mean, their other dealership and almost every car dealership, right? They're the most lit
Yeah.
parking lots and
Yeah.
properties on the planet. And so if they choose not to do lighting, I think it's
Question though, because we haven't specified hours of business. So if they don't add any lighting and they're open at 5:30 at night in the winter and it's pitch black, then it's a safety issue. Do we need to be concerned about that?
there is some lighting spillage you could call.
For sure. Yeah.
Ambient lighting from,
I haven't gone over there and stood there in the
Yeah,
middle of winter.
but I'm sure
after
their
dark.
parking lots for Ridley's and grocery stores are typically adequate.
Yeah.
So I think there's some, but that's just for their own detriment.
Hmm.
I don't see it as a real public.
I think the lighting that comes over from Ridley's parking lot, plus there's lights on the street, across the street. So I think requiring lighting is
Oh, thank you, Kate.
not something they need to do.
So
So do we feel satisfied on lighting? Can we take that one off our list?
I could just say lighting is not proposed, not required.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
so that we have a record of what we've discussed.
Okay. So 1 and 2, we definitely need. 3 is taken care of. We're just requiring it to be maintained. 4 is clear. 5 is now taken care of. What, yeah, I don't need to read it, but.
I think after an input, not to be, right at the end of that one, you said on 4, but not to be asphalted
Oh my God.
on 4.
Not to be his fault.
Without city engineering approval. I mean, if they are gonna asphalt it, then there would be other requirements. We'd look at grading, we'd look at stormwater. Okay,
You've got an extra O and you're not to be asphalted there.
okay, thank you.
Okay, do you guys feel like the bottom ones satisfy the requirements and give code enforcement enough to enforce what we've discussed tonight?
If you want to list the hours of operation,
It says they were addressed, doesn't it? Yeah, addressed, number 10.
Monday,
Yeah,
Monday through Saturday, 9 AM to 6
Yeah.
PM.
yeah, you showed me that. Thank
For
you.
Okay, hours of operation per application.
Monday through Saturday,
Perfect.
9 AM to 6 PM.
9 AM to 6 PM. 6 PM. Okay,
We say box trailers not allowed on the property. Do we want to be more specific about where? Or other kinds of trailers or anything like that?
I think Madam Chair,
Please.
the only comment I have is that they're displaying merchandise. And the trailers that they have are for transporting repaired powers, power these things back and forth between the repair shop and the customer. And so they're not displaying the trailers to sell them. They're displaying the units to sell them, and that's what they're getting the permit for. And so to allow the large trailers there, first of all, it does not provide a bright line for enforcement. There is no bright line there because if enforcement has to go in and ask the question, what are you using the trailer for? Are you displaying it to sell it or to?
Do we want to put that more expressly in number 7, property to be used.
7 and 12 with those two.
Yes, 7, property to be used for display and retail of ATV and power sports only.
Oh, yes.
I think ATV is power sports.
Is it? I don't know. I'm willing to admit full ignorance on that.
Okay.
So does that mean he can't put a trailer on there?
Yeah,
It could be that maybe they're at the back,
I
like the last 50 feet. So that
I-
way, if they're bringing in,
I
put it at the
like
back.
Jay's comment, allow them the back.
Yeah.
okay, then we need to specify that.
And it sounds like he's gonna have some trailers for his business, so I wouldn't, I think what you're trying to say is, not allowed for advertising.
So how do we want
Like,
to write that in the
Well,
document?
They have logos on them. You can't necessarily stop that. I
Yeah.
think what you can say is that they can't be used for advertising, and they also can't be out front, and that they need to be maybe at the back, and maybe even limited to 2 trailers located at the northwest, the back of the property, 50 feet.
Yeah, so the way 7 reads right now, I don't think it won't allow him to put a trailer on
Right,
it.
that doesn't allow for
No.
trailers.
I think number 7 gives the code enforcement officer enough power to enforce box trailers. Because if they just go in and say, look, this is to sell power sports. Trailers aren't power sports. Move your stuff.
Yeah.
Done. I think it's addressed.
I think code enforcement is gonna want you to say exactly what to do with box trailers.
Yeah. But to your point, Jay, do you want to build a display, trailers for sale?
What's that?
Do you want them to display trailers for sale?
I think it's a good
There's
question, but I
Flatbed trailers.
For sale.
You could say those are for sale. Or smaller
Could-
box.
And so do we want that in a specific section? Because I think that was one of our options was, it's a big, long piece of property. Do we want to say, hey, we understand you have trailers for operational purposes. If you're gonna actually sell property, you would need a lot of this room. And if we reduce you to a limited amount of space, you can't really functionally display what you were hoping. So I think we can beat it by just saying that, like, okay, let's say he's got 5 trailers and they're 8 feet wide and it's 40 feet. And you can use the back 50 feet for trailers and then at least we give him something where he can park his trailer.
Or would you say trailers for sale and not company-owned trailers?
You could say transportation trailers / box trailers. You can do this with.
So maybe parked in the lot.
Do you sell?
Notice
trailers
it's
or
300
you Use them to transport stuff.
We do, we sell trailers.
Oh,
We
you do?
probably have five on hand, maybe
Okay.
in the summertime, maybe 5 to 10, but they're flatbed.
Yeah, they're flatbed trailers.
Yeah, so people come in, they don't have a way to get their UTV or ATV. They buy a truck or a ATV and a trailer together.
It's an add-on, it's an add-on sale for
But it'd
you.
be helpful for space.
And
if
that's
we could
number
park
7,
the
Jay. You did
big
that
trailers in the
number 7.
back if we have one
Power sport
toward the
only.
end of the property.
Is it-
It doesn't need to be up towards State Street.
Route 7, the end of 7.
Back off the road. would
Flatbed
help
trailers.
significantly, if that would be okay.
So I hear he's kind of describing that buffer zone, smaller to bigger, and if he could fit a few in the back on display, he would like that. And then other areas for the working trailers. That makes sense to me, because he's saying he'll keep his trailers in the back.
You
Right.
could do that, so, box trailers are not allowed flatbeds in the last 30 feet or something like that,
There you go.
or last 100 feet, or
So
west 100.
40 feet. Yeah,
Okay, I think you could say something like that.
how many feet deep is this lot?
300.
Okay. So 50 seems totally reasonable to me.
Right.
That
big.
if we said, okay, because it seems like we're saying the same thing over and over here, and I think we agree more than we disagree.
Maintain working trailers in the back 50 feet of the lot.
But these are trailers for sale or trailers for,
Working, and then retail trailers in the front.
so are we okay with them using the back 50 feet for business storage, essentially?
I don't like the idea of the word
Nor
storage.
do I.
Actually,
That's what it is.
open storage is prohibited. It's
Yeah,
commercial general.
so this has to be things for sale.
18.
18? Yeah, we don't need that, that's dress above.
You gotta keep your work trailer somewhere else, I
We
guess.
did add
Yeah.
that part here.
So,
Property to be used for display and retail only of ATV and flatbed trailers.
all right,
Not storage. Okay.
there's your answer.
So the one question is on the big trailers, not allowed at the back,
On-
is. Are they using them for?
Are they for sale?
On their transportation
Not for
test.
sale.
Then no.
No, the big box trailers are,
Yeah.
right?
They're for sale.
Oh, the box trailers use,
Somewhere.
Somebody wants to come in and buy a big display trailer, they can buy it.
okay.
With young ATV on the side. I don't think they're gonna buy those.
Well, so in this case, it's a flatbed.
Right, do we need
Trailers that go somewhere else.
do we need to include box trailers right there if they're for sale?
Right?
You can have the giant ones, the sale is for sale, right? It's
If-
just $100,000 and nobody's buying it, now you have free advertising and just. The look that we weren't going for.
Can I have a
Okay.
recommend something is, doing that, no box trailers are permitted on this display area. And in 6 months, if it seems to be a clear thing, this is when we revisit and the applicant can say, hey, I would like to try and do these and add it to the element. That's always, this isn't a one and done. If you put a time limit on it that we revisit.
Yeah, thank you for that reminder. I think that's a great idea to revisit it. In fact, that was one of these, wasn't it? What do you guys think? 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? I probably would like to see 3 to 6 months.
I think at the end of the day, just the lot itself is giving you a lot of the value with the frontage, and you're gonna have good looking stuff out there. And the parking lot at the grocery store's open. You're gonna accomplish your mission. I don't think you need a box trailer to make or break your business, right? So I just, to me, it seems like it's just not that important of a topic. It's more of a nuisance because it's not a power sport. It's just, you know what I mean? And so I'm just not in a hurry to deal with it. Just do power sports and display and make it look great
Yeah, sell the product.
and revisit whether you're gonna sell box trailers. Well, if we're gonna allow.
Becky, you've been quiet. Do you have any thoughts we haven't heard on this?
Say, it looks so much better.
Thank you. Yeah.
It does.
Well, I like what you've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Thank
like the
you.
idea. We just want to protect.
Yeah, the tree's gone. I had neighbors come in and say, hey, thank you. It looks way better. We can see around the
Okay,
corner. It's
Is 12,
safer.
is 12 the same as 7? We need 12.
So we're getting,
So flatbed trailers, are we good?
Flatbed trailers for sale, we are good.
Okay.
Yeah. Mark, do you have anything we haven't heard?
No, I think I just looked through this entire list and how do you make a motion? Do you say we make a motion that we approve it based on the attached list of improvements?
yes,
Yeah.
that list right there.
Rather than read the list,
Yeah.
just say the attached list.
Can we nail down 12 on after the following months? And also nail down box trailers. Just want to say
So-
not allowed, or if you have any conditions of how they are allowed.
I would say 6
If-
months.
I would say 6 months and I
Okay.
would say box trailers not allowed.
Read 12 to me.
The conditional use permit will be reviewed after the following. Yeah, we should
Yeah.
probably tidy that up.
Was
6
that,
months.
was that the following, after the following?
Mm.
I should need both of those.
Yes.
At 6 months, perfect.
Add after. Okay, my thought on box trailers would be if they want to put them in the very, very back, I don't mind them having 2 box trailers are for sale. If they're for sale.
Yeah.
But he specified they're not.
No, he did say they
Right,
weren't.
I said, that's my input.
Okay.
Here's the thing,
yeah,
when you
but-
need to decide how big of a box trailer,
What's
because
the biggest one?
there's.
As big as they want.
Like semi-truck size?
Yeah,
Is that a box
that's what they
trailer?
have. People buy them and use them.
Yeah, we don't have any that big. We have fifth wheels that are
It was-
probably
it was in the
50,
back of the
40, 50
property.
feet.
And hiding their building, that's their choice, they want to hide their building. But the back of the property, I don't mind having a box trailer in the back of it, back of the lot, the back of the lot, back row of the lot, the back 25 feet.
Regardless of size.
I don't mind that, but
So
that's just what I thought, you can do whatever you want.
could I raise the issue that they haven't even applied for an application to sell box trailers on this lot?
It's a
They've
power
just
sport.
power sports.
All right, that's all the application's for.
But we know the intent's there, so that's what we're trying to.
And you don't want any storage back there. Otherwise, you're combining storage with display, and
Yeah.
that's what you've tried to divide.
Yeah, and
So-
storage is prohibited.
They-
No, I say they didn't ask for box trailers. We don't give them box trailers.
But at the 6 months review, they could. come
At 6 months, we could readdress it. Yep.
There you go. We'll revisit box
in.
trailer.
Okay,
We got a list there.
they didn't ask for.
And how I see this, box trailers are not allowed on the property for storage, display, or sales. Obviously, if they're dropping off ATVs and moving it, that's okay, but that should be minutes or hours, not days.
Yeah.
or
on,
weeks.
on this property. Okay,
Anything we've missed, Jake?
Let's go to 20.
we did,
Yeah, that's good. So we did have a motion. It did not have a second,
so we need to.
and that has been withdrawn. Okay.
Or let, just stay dialectless.
So we,
Can I say one thing? That the conditional use permit is granted after these items are met. So that doesn't mean they get it tomorrow.
Satisfied.
We sit down with Lance and we say, okay, let's get these nailed down
But-
as soon as you can. Because some of these will take, the cross-access easement will take a little bit. We'll have to get some landscape plans and get those approved. And so there is a little bit of time frame, but as quick as he could work through that, we can work through that. That's my thought on it.
okay. Did you have a comment, Ray?
13 need to be worded a little bit differently.
What
Will
was that?
landscape be, landscape, it will be
Yep.
What number is that?
13,
Tony, did you have a comment while Jake does that?
the up front.
Hmm.
But
You're talking about making it time
that's not what
sensitive.
it said.
If,
Well, I thought you had there was fine, just the wording was backwards on a couple of words.
Oh, okay, let me go back to where we.
if a complaint is made because someone says, okay, this doesn't fit into the conditional use permit that we granted, and a complaint is made, can that conditional use permit be pulled based on a complaint or non-compliance? I mean, you don't have to wait 6 months if
Take a little
something's
bit while.
going on that you have not allowed.
No, if they violate any of the conditions of the conditional use, then it can be brought back to the planning commission right away
Okay.
for you to determine whether or not they're in breach of it.
But would there have to be an official complaint made to the city in order to trigger that, or?
It could be the city's complaint as well. The city's enforcement officer if Rose sees it and says they're not in compliance, it would come back to the planning commission.
What if it was just a member of the public that drove by there and says, I didn't think they were going to allow this, and now I see this? Would a complaint to the city on that? Would
They could,
that go ahead and initiate
placing on the agenda for the planning commission, it could be. Yeah.
okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. As the applicant, do you have any comments on this list,
Wow.
this discussion?
Glad I'm not building anything. Just want to park at a dirt parking lot.
You thought I was gonna be simple, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. No, thank you for your time. It's good. We want to be good neighbors, so whatever you guys need, we'll figure it out.
Thank you, we
Those
appreciate
those
that.
make sense to you.
Yeah, just seems like a lot, but okay. We'll do it.
Okay,
So,
Some of it is just clarifying the rules. I
Yeah,
mean,
just-
some of these you
It's already
don't,
done.
you don't have to do anything.
Just
We
clarification.
just want to get it in writing, you know, for
Clar-
example, the
clarification.
bathroom.
we talked about having time. Can we work through this or we can use it right now? We're just trying to get open. We're trying to get some traction
Yeah,
there.
right.
We just want to, we want people to know we're there. It's,
So if we make a motion to approve a conditional use permit based on these 16 items,
Yeah.
did that allow him to go ahead and start doing business?
No.
Well, you, well, two ways maybe to do that. One is you could say these items have to be met within 30 days and they can have the conditional use now.
Yeah.
Or it could be that the conditional use is not granted until these items are met. Is that fair, Gary? That there could be a timeline saying, we're giving you a 30-day leeway. And if they're not, then you have to cease operations and
seems fair.
okay.
that.
Any more discussion? We will entertain a motion.
Okay. I move we approve the conditional use application with the attached list of 16 items to be completed. The applicant may start using the ground with a 30-day window for completion of the attached list.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any-
I'll second that.
Any discussion on the motion?
Great.
We will vote. All in favor, please indicate. And it passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll make it look guys. It'll look great down there. I promise you.
Like Jay said, most of these items are just clarification of agreements.
No, it's, yeah.
Very few of them are things you have to do between the next 30 days.
I will say this, but the property's kind of been a little bit of a free for all. It's been flat. We've had truck trailers, stuff that's not ours that have been used down there. So,
Yeah.
you know, so as soon as we were asked to move stuff, we did within hours. But we haven't really used it since, other than putting an occasional trailer or something on there. But like car show was there, it seems like a good display spot because everybody's using it. So
Yeah.
So
hope we'll have some success there.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, good to meet you all. Thank you very
But
much.
when you fill with your stuff, the others won't go park there. When you fill with your stuff, the others can't park there.
I hope you sell out.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
you.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you. so much.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your discussion and your input on that. And thank you, Commissioner Ackett, for the very wise suggestion to bump that earlier up on the agenda.
Thank you, Gary and Kate.
Thank you. It did take longer than expected, but I'm happy with what we came out with. With that, we will move to the next items. Now, the next remaining three items on the agenda are all public hearings. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to have the public hearing all together. We will accept a motion to open the public hearing after we hear a little background from Jake. We'll have a second vote to open the public hearing, listen to any comments that may be here, close the public hearing also by motion and vote, and then we will address and vote on the items one at a time. So is that clear for everybody? Okay, with that being said, Jake, would you give us a little context on
Yes,
this?
okay. These three items were discussed during the work session. The first item is providing some flexibility on how corner lots for single-family homes are addressed. The rear setback behind the home and the interior side yard setback. Let me just zoom back up here per this ordinance. So this is a footnote. This is what was discussed. On building plans, corner lots have flexibility to indicate, we're taking out the word designated, in interior side and rear side and corresponding setbacks. Applies to single-family buildings only. That is proposed. Again, corner lots, and it would allow them to have a little bit of flexibility. It really does not, as I studied this, it does not impact the neighbors any more than it would, because some neighbors will have a 10-yard setback and others will have 30. And so it is just however they build it and design it.
So they'll be honoring the existing setbacks. They just get to choose which way their house faces.
Yes, so you have to choose which one is, I think the 30 and which one is the 10. But the two street frontages, the front and the side street, they're set. And that's important because that's where utilities go. That's the biggest thing is utilities, and the second part is having enough space to park a vehicle not in the sidewalk.
Okay, thank you. And the next item.
Okay, so the next item is, this is an item that we've been working on 3 or 4 months now. I don't have the exact, but definitely 3, maybe 4. This is updating the commercial land use table. This is at the request of the city council, but also something that the planning commission has identified as well. We have added a number of uses. We have removed uses and we have clarified uses. And this has been in previous packets. So if somebody wanted to go back and track the history, they could do that. And in the work session, we discussed which items were added. And I'm just going to mention some of those, that these were items that were added since our last meeting. Let's see, community use, we brought that back. That was from a previous use that are existing actually. Recreation park and plaza, automobile related. And here we're combining auto and ATV, and just as a reminder, we're still at conditional use for the GC. So what happened tonight would actually happen again. But if someone wants to go ahead and build this in along the highway or in the manufacturing and distribution, they could just move right ahead. It's more about the city's caring about our commercial corridors. Just wanted to mention that we did define bar and tavern. Bar is not allowed, tavern is allowed. Oh, this is an item I recommend you discuss, as was brought up in the work session, allowing the tavern in the commercial. So you may want to do that. We added sexually oriented businesses, however, as a non-allowed. Also, tattoo as a permitted in the manufacturing distribution zone, and then smoke or vaping store not allowed.
Do we need to clear up that question mark on tavern before we?
Yes, that's a good. The planning commission okay with Jay's recommendation?
It gets scratched anyways because of the church, so.
Yeah.
Well, but the church
But if
could,
the church were not there at some point, if they moved.
and there's also distance, it's all based on distances. So if they're per state code, a certain distance from the church, then it would be allowed.
Yeah, so if somebody wanted to tear down 7-Eleven and put in a Chili's, we could do it.
Or it could be that the state law changes.
Okay.
Because that's more of our bar and no pun intended on that.
The church didn't care.
That's over there.
You still can't?
If they, if they come in or before the fact, is that what you're asking?
No, what if an applicant came in and said, we have this letter that the church is okay, that we're selling alcohol within a certain distance?
That still does not qualify.
Okay.
Sorry. State law doesn't allow it.
That's a,
Church
that's
dictates.
a Heavenly Father decision.
Okay. Under industrial, we added data center as a non-permitted use. Also, light impact is allowed. High impact is, hold on 1 second. I had this as a conditional. Maybe we remove that one as the, I'm not sure why we had that before. Maybe it was in there. So is this one we want to remove? The high impact? I would say yes, just because we don't. Someone could always come back and say, I want to build this, and then we could define it as. it
Within
is.
the
We didn't want it before, so I'm
within
crossing.
the
that.
city limits, it's
Yeah,
not.
okay, I'm
likely
crossing that
anyway.
out. And then moving on to agriculture, this is mostly as we had before. Okay. The third item that accompanies this is we added definitions for all of the uses that did not have one. That way, someone says, well, you allow this use, what is it? And so we have added those and clarified some of those. I don't know that we need to read any of these. Unless you'd
Be
like.
clear, and we did discuss them during the work session. Does anybody have any questions about any of those?
Good job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well done, really.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. With that, we will entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make the motion that we open the public hearing.
Thank you, Mark. Do we have a second? What was that?
You specify what on?
Um, for all three.
Item 1, 2, and 3 of the agenda. You should just specify the motion.
Okay, I make the motion that we open the public hearing
On item 1, 2.
For items 2, 3, and 4.
for items 2, 3, and 4. I'm sorry.
For revised agenda.
Then 3, 4, and 5. Revised agenda.
Okay, or originally.
Yes. Yes. All right. With that, do we have a second? Okay. I saw Jay first, so we have a second from Commissioner Ackett. All in favor of opening the public hearing? Indicate. Wonderful. Public hearing is open. We have no public. Would anyone, Teresa, we don't have anybody online, do we? No letters or emails or,
No prior emails or comments.
Make a
Before
motion
me.
to close the public hearing.
and okay, all in favor? Great. Public hearing closed. Thank you. Now we will take them one at a time. Item number 3 per revised agenda is the ordinance 26-10, amending Title 101470 residential zones tables 3 through 1, giving corner lots a rear and side yard orientation option. Any discussion on this? Or we will entertain a motion to,
Teresa, will you move
Approve.
the?
Can you turn that on?
Put all three of them together in one approval.
Nope, one at a time. Ray, did you have a comment?
Hate to keep wordsmithing that one, but you need to take an S off of that, one piece in there.
Yeah, so. There we go. And when you make the motion, you could say, as indicated per comments.
Yep.
Jake, aren't these recommendations to the city council then? That's what the planning commission is doing, is
Okay.
recommending a positive recommendation.
Are all 3 of these for positive recommendations? Because they're ordinances.
I would think so.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave, for that reminder. So we'll remember
Yeah.
to include that in the language of the motion that one of you is going to make any minute now.
Perfect.
Talk them out, Ray.
Okay. All right, here we go. I move that we forward on to the city council ordinance 26-10, amending title 10.14.070 residential zones, table 3-1, giving corner lots and a rear and side yard orientation option with the changes as noted in discussion.
Do we have a second? We have a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. Item number 4 per the revised agenda. Amending commercial manufacturing land use classifications table. Right?
I move we forward on the city council ordinance 26-11, amending title 10.16.160, commercial manufacturing land use classifications, table 4-2 as an update.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Okay, passes unanimously. Next item, ordinance 2612, definition to support the updated commercial manufacturing land use classifications, right?
I move we forward ordinance 26-12 with a favorable recommendation, amending title 10.04.010, definitions to support the updated commercial/manufacturing land use classifications.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Wonderful. All in favor? Any opposed? No? All right, passes unanimously. Anything else before we adjourn?
Talk to you about the APA Utah
Oh, yeah.
conference.
Yes, so the American Planning Association Utah chapter is having its annual conference at the Davis County Conference Center. That's September 9th and 10th. The city will cover your expenses of registering for the conference. If you'd like to go, you could attend 1 or 2 sessions or multiple sessions. They do have specific tracks, like entire track just for planning commissions with a lot of training, but you could go to any of the sessions if your schedule allows. I'd recommend it just because it's as close as it'll probably ever be. And I've been on the committee planning the conference, and I think it's looking pretty good.
Now, I'm gonna be gone the first day of the conference. Does it make any sense if I can't attend the first day to attend the second?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sessions are different.
Yes, the sessions are different.
Different topics.
And if you look at the agenda, they do have the official agenda on the website. It just got updated yesterday. I think that's why I sent it.
Yeah, Teresa emailed that.
And the really incredible thing about it is that there'll be options. So during a time frame for like an hour and a half, you can go to 3 different classes. So you can look at it and say, hey, this, and they do a description, which is great. Give a little synopsis if you want to say, and then you can pick and choose which one you will benefit you. And so the APA Utah does a really great job with updating you on legislature if it needs to, what the trend is, give you advice. They've got some of the sessions are specifically for planning commission people. So if you want to do it, just let me know and I'll sign you up.
No, I told you I couldn't go, but
Do you want to go to
I'll
the
go
second day?
second day.
Okay, I could do that.
Some of us are retired and some of us earn commission.
Either
You
way.
just want to
we
go
have
for
more flexibility
day.
tonight.
On both.
Well, and I was going to ask you candidly, like, I have no doubt that it would be interesting, but do you think that it would be useful? Would it be actionable?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I would just look at the whole agenda and say, these sessions, I could use the most help on.
I mean, the tour of Lagoon wouldn't be useful, but that kind of sounded awesome.
If you want to do that, you can. I'm working on a tour of Antelope Island.
Okay.
And so, that's
Great. Thank you, everyone. We are officially adjourned.
You're a good.
You.
you.
Is Gary Explain one of your presenters?
Oh, you can do it.
What's that?
Gary